Welcome to Equity Builds Expertise, the podcast. Because whether you teach it or build it, expertise grows where equity leads. I'm Shana Buckner, STEM educator, consultant, author, and the voice behind the Equity Builds Expertise framework. And after years of helping teachers, school leaders, engineers, and technical teams grow their people, I've learned something pretty simple. And that's that classrooms and companies really face some of the same challenges. And it's going to be the same solutions that change everything. So here, we're going to talk about what really builds expertise. We're talking about belonging, access, agency, clarity, communication, and those everyday decisions that actually shape how people think, learn, and collaborate. So if you're committed to growing your people, whether we're talking about students or staff, teachers or engineers, then this is the space for you. So pull up a chair, grab your notebook, and join me as we bridge the worlds between STEM education and STEM industry and build the expertise that truly lasts. This is Equity Builds Expertise, the podcast. Let's get started. Welcome back to Equity Builds Expertise, the podcast, because whether you teach it or build it, expertise grows where equity leads. Okay, in the last episode, we talked about confidence and what it means to move forward even when it's not fully there. But today, we're actually going to bring that into the real world, and we're going to talk about it because confidence doesn't develop in isolation. It develops in environments that are either supportive of you or environments that are challenging you in ways that you weren't even prepared for. I'm excited because I am joined in this episode by my former student, Tiaja Harley-Wiltshire. And this conversation is about navigating power, presence, and communication, but in engineering spaces. So let's get into it. So Tiaja, I am so happy to have you on the show today. Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to talk a lot about your pathway to where you are today. We should just first start where you could tell the listeners a little bit about your journey, like what led you to pursue engineering and even find yourself in different leadership positions within the field.
Actually, it started in seventh grade. I had a teacher at the Clinton Hill campus I went to North Star, at the Clinton Hill campus. Her name was Miss Starks, and she persuaded a group of us to try. Rutgers, New Brunswick has this program called Target. It's specifically engineering program for girls, minorities, but it's open to anyone. And so, yeah, that kind of like kickstarted my interest into engineering. I did the camp. I want to say maybe that summer before eighth grade year. And then I went every year after that. Like
Wow.
every year. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even once you got to the high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
I went every year after that. Because it's only a 1 week program. So like
Yes.
they run it the whole summer, but like every week is a grade. So I just went, it was like consecutive weeks, but like years in the time span. Anyways, during that, I believe it was either my sophomore year, like entering my sophomore year or entering my freshman year, one of the two. Um, there was a week where we learned the different types of engineering and how each of those engineering, field or sectors make up the world that we are in today. And one of the
Wow.
ones that piqued my interest was World Cup. So it had to be the year of 2020, no, 2012, because
Mm.
I think they had it in London, if I'm not mistaken. And the entire construction site, they like built that like for the World Cup with
Yeah.
recyclables in construction. And then once I like learned about that, I was like, wow, I need to get into that. I need to know like how are things built? How are things made?
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
like I wasn't really into like electronics. I wasn't
Hmm.
really into like mechanical. I hated chemistry. That was not my
I love the idea of chemistry, but I did not enjoy chemistry either. But it does come down to
yeah.
teachers.
No, you see, I had Mr. Rotherham, so like he was a great teacher,
Oh,
but
yes.
chemistry itself just wasn't my
Yeah.
forte.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like those like automatically eliminated themselves. And then once I got to junior year of high school and we started like, narrowing down like, okay, what colleges you want to go to? What are you doing? I don't
Hmm.
know if you heard of it, but it's called the All-Star Program. It's
Of
in Newark.
course.
So we had to do like the community service
That's
and do
right.
the like professional development.
That's
And
right.
ironically, that's where I met my now husband.
What?
Yes. So I met him in high school.
Are you kidding me? Did he go to
No,
prom with you?
no, he didn't.
Okay.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was a different boyfriend. But I met him as like a friend. But yeah, so we did the program. And then at the end of the program of the development, you get an internship. And I
Hmm.
landed my first internship with Port Authority in Newark. Um,
Oh my goodness.
yes, and my manager happened to be a woman, a black woman at that. She ran the whole engineering department, management department for Port Authority,
Wow.
and she happened to be an NJIT alumni twice.
Wow.
Yeah, so everything was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like everything was like laid out for me. So yeah, so during my time there, I told her like I want to be a civil engineer, I want to do this, da da da. And she was like, no. And I was like my little heart was crushed.
Wait a minute. Yeah, why did
Yeah.
she say that?
Well, she said that because I only had like one experience and like I should not
Mm,
allow one experience to determine my life trajectory. So the caveat
wow.
to it was I had 6 weeks I was spending with her. And in those 6 weeks, I had to spend a week in each department. So I had to spend a week in mechanical, spend a week in environmental, spend a week in like spend a week
Mm-hmm.
in all the departments within Port Authority. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then every intern has to do like an end of the year
Mm-hmm.
presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did my end of the year presentation for her, and then she finally asked me like at the end, like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, it's still civil, like nothing changed. And she was like, well, at least now you can say you made an educated decision based off of
That's
your
right.
experience.
I love
Um,
that. Oh, wow.
yeah, and so I don't know, like along the way, I've always managed to have mentors who like pour
Yeah.
into me, help me, guide me.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that was my journey into like how like becoming an engineer, how I got into engineering. And then senior year, I applied to a lot of engineering level. We had to apply to like 12 schools.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I pretty much got into like almost all of them except for Columbia. And I had a full ride for Rutgers, New Brunswick, and a full ride for NJIT. And I
Come
honestly
on,
wanted to
Rutgers is my alma mater, Mr. Worrell's alma mater.
So I honestly wanted to go to
You slept
Rutgers.
on Rutgers. Come on
It
now.
wasn't my fault. My mom went behind my back and put, the down payment that you got to pay for like
Yes,
Missouri.
yes.
Yes, she did it for NJIT. And I was like, I so badly wanted to go to Rutgers, New Brunswick, right? Like
Yes.
the Greek life there is great. It's
Yes.
not too
You would
close.
have lived on Bush campus because that's where the engineering
Yes.
school is. That's where I lived. It was great. You would have
Yes.
loved it.
I would have. I would have. But I
But
went to
you enjoyed
NJIT.
NJIT. NJIT is where you were supposed to be.
Yeah, and I ended up having a full ride. and I didn't have to take out, I only had to take out loans, honestly, for living on campus because my mom moved
Yeah.
to North Carolina. I'm like,
Yep.
you want me to go to this school? And then, like, 2 months into me starting school, you moved to
Dipped
North
out.
Carolina.
Dipped out. Please,
I'm
I
like,
had that vision. I had that vision at one point. I was like, I think I want an RV. And when when the twins go off, then we're out. Sadly, Ty's not on board with that, so we're gonna be
it's
somewhere.
okay.
It is okay. It's okay.
I don't think any man is on board with
I
that.
know. Come on. It's interesting you said that because my daughter is my ride or die RV person. For the
Yeah,
longest, she was like,
I will be your
Mom,
ride or die RV
she was like,
person.
Bob, when I make my first million, I'm gonna buy you your RV and we can go on our own trips and forget
Well, have
Malachi and
space for
Dad.
me.
Oh, Tiaja, you are
I'll
always
gladly
welcome.
come.
Girls trip for real. I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
down with that.
But yeah, so I managed to make a lot of connections at NJIT, put
Of
myself
course
in
you did.
rooms that I don't know if I needed to be in them or not, but I was in them.
I want to share a piece of our history with those who are listening, because it really does matter. And I remember when you were, I think it was your senior year, you were already balancing multiple AP classes and needing to apply for schools, applications, college essays. And our school didn't have a whole lot of AP science options, but we did have some. And
Yeah.
I remember you came to me and you didn't want to overload yourself and you didn't want to just check a box on having taken particular science classes. And you still needed another science class. And that's when you decided to take environmental science. And I remember, like, in most cases, in most schools, people are like, okay, who cares? Just take your science, like whatever. But the reason why, if people don't know North Star and don't know Uncommon Schools and how we operate, it's like we know you are capable of taking the hardest, and pretty much we believe that in almost every single student, for you to decide not to take some of the highest level classes, it is more than just a conversation. You're going to have several conversations with several teachers, several leaders, several people.
Yep.
And I remember you coming to me and you were like, so like, and you looked like this Hyatt, this is like the last time I want to have to tell this story and the why. And it's pretty much landed on, if you say it's okay, it's okay for me to be in this class. And I remember thinking, first of all, am I about to mess up this girl who wants to be, go into STEM? Am I about to mess up her future by saying, no, you don't have to take this hard AP class, blah, blah, blah. Come take my environmental science class, which I still loved and put so much care in creating the curriculum. And I loved that class. But part of it was designed to be a rigorous class, but not one that was an AP. We weren't offering AP environmental science yet.
Nope.
Um, and the fact that you approached that decision with just so
I
much
was the only
direction.
senior
You were the
in
only one
that
who's
class.
ever done that. That's right. The only senior in my junior class. Looking back now, how did that level of planning and self-advocacy shape how you approach the decisions that you make even today in engineering or in any kind of leadership that you've had over the years?
I think for me, it's like a double-edged sword. I did not
Mm.
want to take AP bio. That's what I did not want to do.
Oh, Miss Burnham, it was awesome.
Yeah, I've heard from other people,
Yeah.
but as you know from the beginning, chemistry, bio, not that was just not my deal. So that was part of the reason. But the other part of the reason was I looked at a lot of the curriculums for the schools
Mm.
that I applied. And
Who does that? Deasia does that. That's what I'm like, who is doing that?
it might be the Virgo in me. I don't know, but
Yes,
I'm like,
me.
I always
Oh, you're
plan like,
Virgo.
yeah,
Yes,
I always plan
yes.
like five. Like I'm always, and it's crazy because like my husband keeps me very grounded and present. Because if not, I'm like already mapping out like what's happening next year. What's like sidebar, but relevant. to the point where like once the first week of January come, I put in my PTO for the whole year. I already know where I'm going for the
Yes.
entire year.
Okay, first of all,
So,
those are goals. And you just might be my hero right now because I Kramer into all of my vacation days. It's like, wait,
oh
what?
no.
I need to put this in. I need to be out tomorrow.
And I noticed that between NJIT, between
Mm,
Rutgers, and any other schools, I didn't need to take biology.
yeah.
Physics and chemistry were like the introductory course for engineering, like that all freshmen and sophomores have to take. And I already taken those classes, but I still had to meet my science requirement. So
Yes.
yeah, you
Yes.
were my lifesaver and last resort
No,
because it was that or AP Bio. And I'm like, because I already was taking AP Calculus BC.
that's right.
And that class in itself with Mr. Pollock was
Oh, yes.
very rigorous, intense.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so that was part of the reason. But like even looking towards now, and just how I make my like decision making is I always just figure out how can I propel myself forward? What can I do to prepare myself, but then also put the like the stepping stones in place. Like if I know I
Hmm.
want to get to point C, what do I have to do from
Yeah.
point A to point B? Because there's always
Wow.
something you have to encounter in the middle, wherever you want to go.
Yes.
Like there's
Yes.
no, I feel like people always say like, oh, it's a point A to point B, but they don't really talk about like all the little journeys you have to go to. So I like to say it's point A to point C.
Mm.
Whatever happens with B, that's
That's
that's the universe. That's
the
God.
universe.
All I know is I need to get to C.
Yes.
So
Yes. So you were very always very self-motivated, as you said. Yes, we could blame it on your astrological sign, but that's Tiaja. That's just you.
that is me.
That is just you always.
But I think
Um, yeah.
part of the reason to that is I also was very determined to not repeat my family's steps. Like
Oh,
none of the women, like just
yeah.
maternal line between my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother, none of them graduated high school. So I was the first to do that.
Wow.
No one in my family is an engineer.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like little things like that, like understanding the background I came from and just
Yes.
knowing what I mean, at the time, I actually never wanted kids. Like growing up, I'm like, my life was hard. My mom struggled having two kids. Like,
Oh
I
my
just don't know
goodness.
if I'm like, cut out to be a mom. Especially just, all the self-sacrificing you have to do, like the
Yeah.
things that you have to sacrifice to not be able to reach your dreams to make sure your child is okay.
That's right.
Um,
That's
and
right.
so I've just always thought about that. And I'm just like, I don't ever want to have to go to a food bank to get food for my child. I don't ever have to like what I've
Yeah.
experienced growing up. I don't ever want to do that for my child. And so what can I do to make sure my future is great? But not only that is like how can I also be an impact to others? Because I feel like there's a fine
Yes.
line
Yes.
between being selfish and being selfless. And it's so
Mm.
easy to cross those boundaries
Yes.
and not realize either choice you make, there's always consequences to it, or there's rewards and you have to figure out which one do you want to be selfish in this moment or do you want to be selfless. And I felt like in high school I was very selfish but in a great
Mm.
way of like I knew my mom couldn't tell me nothing if I had good grades, right? Like my mom couldn't get on me if I was
Yeah.
excelling in school, and so I just like dug my head so deep into school to just make sure that I went to college. um And it's crazy because my junior year, my mom, and this was before I started senior year, my mom like flat out told me, you know how dang, I forget what those meetings were called where like the parents would come in and they will sit down with the college counselor and talk about like the
Mm-hmm.
financial aid.
Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
just remember sitting there with Mr. Yao and my mom was like,
Wow.
I don't care what's going on here. All I know is you're going to college and you got to figure out how to pay for it. Very blunt, very direct. And I was
Wow.
just like, oh, wow, like that, like, what do you say to that? Like, how do you even, like, just a teenage girl trying to figure it out, like figure
I'm,
life out.
yes,
Just,
yes.
and so that was
Wow.
also a determinative factor for me of like how dedicated and motivated, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also didn't want to live my life in debt.
Right,
So
right.
I applied to as many scholarships. So yeah, like you said, between like AP classes or college essays, on top of that, I was applying to every scholarship I could get my hands on.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have a lot of great scholarships for minority women. They have a lot of great
Yes,
scholarships for being
absolutely.
left-handed. Like
Yes. Yeah, my
they
son is left-handed. I do a whole thing about left-handedness. Yes.
Yeah, so I've like every scholarship that I could just think of, I've gotten. Um, but then it also pays to know people, right? And so
Yeah.
I've known like between North Star, between All
Yeah.
Stars, between
Yeah.
I'm also well, I was a little sister. So the program Big Brother, Big Sister.
Absolutely.
I had a big sister who actually I'm very much still in contact with her. She's my daughter's,
Wow.
yeah, she's my daughter's godmother.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. What?
yeah, so she's known me since I was like in seventh grade.
Wow.
But she had a lot of contacts because she worked at Rutgers, New Brunswick, North. And so all the scholarships that would come her way, she would just swing them my way and would push mine like to the top. And so there were several scholarships that I was able to get like just
Yeah.
through knowing her.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, it's been I always try to motivate people to, even if you don't know people, put yourself out there. Like
Yes.
even if it's uncomfortable,
Where does that come from though, Tiaja? You,
I don't know,
your
internally.
everything, it is internal. It is internal. My daughter, I wear this bracelet all the time that my daughter made years ago, and it says "Do it afraid." That's like our little motto that it is absolutely okay to be afraid of a lot of things, but you're not allowed to let that fear stop you from
Overcome you, yeah.
right, stop you, make you immobile, right? You need to always be moving forward. But that is something that she's had to work through. I had to work through. It has not been easy. I need the reminder because I'm always hitting some sort of wall, and then I need to remind myself, okay, are you not moving forward because you're afraid? What are you afraid of?
Right.
You still need to take the step and just be scared while you're doing it. That's fine, right? I don't know if you experienced that, but there's
No.
something, yeah, it doesn't seem like you did. And I don't
No.
know where that comes from. You have utilized, it's like the definition. If someone were to say, how do you use your community and how do you give to your community? And like your picture would be there explaining, because you've talked about from All Stars to the connections at Rutgers to NJIT to the internships you've had. You have connected with people in a way that they want to be in connection with you, Tiaja. Anyone who meets you, it's like to meet her, to know her is to love her. Like that's you. But you also, you found a way to create your own ecosystem that you support and it supports you in the way any ecosystem would work.
Yeah.
That's not common at all. How did you learn that? Did you see that? Like, how did you do that?
Um, a mixture of both.
Mm,
Growing up, I didn't grow up with like my father around, and so it was always like, oh, you'll go see your father this weekend. And I remember like my mom would always ask me like, oh, you need to ask your dad about X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no,
mm,
I'm not gonna do that because what if he says no? And
mm,
I remember very early on, my mom said, it's better to ask and know that the answer is no than to not ask and not know what the answer is
mm.
gonna be.
Yes, mom. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so I've just
Mm-hmm.
carried that all in my life. Like I'm gonna always ask a question if I don't understand something. I mean, you
Yeah.
probably know that. Like
Yes, I
if I don't
remember. Yeah.
understand anything, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask a question until I understand it. If I want something, I'm gonna ask. And if I'm faced with no, then how can I get it? And what? It's kind of like what you said. Like
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be my own brick wall.
Mm. Yeah.
And I feel
Mm.
like it's so easy, especially for young women,
Yes.
because I feel like my roughest time in life was middle school, and not middle school, sorry, high school and college. Like that was
Wow.
like the hardest time because all I did was bury myself in school, bury myself in doing things, and I never had the chance to like sit down with myself and really like, go through the
Oh,
whole
wow.
like
Yeah.
healing process, understanding like what do you want? And I noticed in me is I always wanted more. Like I could do
Mm,
something and I want more, and I could
yeah.
achieve that and I want more, and I can achieve that and then I just keep wanting more. And having to realize that I have that power to be
Yeah.
able to get more. And it's like, okay, so now that I know that I have that power, how do I use that power to bring myself up? But how do I use that power to bring other people up? And so I'm always making a network. Like I'm always networking with someone. And I always like to tell people I network it with, you have more people coming because no, and it's so
I
true. Like
love
if I
that.
find a great like, financial advisor, if I find a great
Hmm.
therapist, if I find a great like, not only are you profiting off of me, but you're now going to be profiting off of other people that I know who can use your services as well. And I feel like it's always great to, it's kind of like mushrooms, right? Like they
Mm,
all interconnect with each other. And
yes.
at some point in life, you're going to interconnect with another person who's interconnected with other people. And so
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not get to know people? And so yeah, so I do. I put myself in places and in rooms. I like in college, I was on the board for National Society of Black Engineers. It's called
Oh,
NSBE.
Nesby. Oh, I know that
Yes.
very well. Yeah.
So I went from being a pre-college chair to jumping to president of the
Wow.
chapter. That's okay. That's how I met. I went to a NSB conference sophomore year of college. That's how
Hmm.
I met my now regional manager.
Wow.
He met
Okay.
me when I was 19. I'm 29 now.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
So he's known me
Okay.
since he always makes a joke of like I've known you since you were like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like even then, getting into the Greek world, like becoming an AKA, that's a whole nother network of
Yes.
people that I, know. And then marrying into the Greek world as well. My husband is a part of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. So
Okay.
like his network of people, he's a DJ, he's an engineer. And so we kind of just like use each other, vibe off of each other, and just
Yeah.
help each other. But I think it also comes from just like growing up in a very religious background. Like
Mm.
my grandmother is Pentecostal,
Okay.
and so everything is always,
Yeah.
you know, about giving to others, about being
Hmm.
grateful, learning to be
Hmm.
thankful, because not everybody has the opportunity that you do. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just try to use all of those things to not only help myself but to help other people, and specifically other women. And now that I'm a mom, I specifically try to help mothers and help like
Yeah.
perfect example would be with my notary business. Like not only do I do notary, I also created a network of mothers who are notaries. And
Really?
yes.
Wow. I
And
love
so
that.
I reached out to this one notary in Maryland. I like proposed the idea to her, like, hey, we should host like in-person meetings, we should host
Hmm.
in-person, trainings, all of these things, because there are some moms who don't want to leave their kids and want to be at home. And this is a
That's right.
great way to make income without having to leave your children. And then there are other moms who work full time, they have kids, they're trying to juggle it all.
Hmm.
And I want
Hmm.
to be the face of showing people like you can still have a career and do what
Yes.
you love while
Yes.
also being a businesswoman, while
Yes.
also maintaining a household. It's
That's
not
right.
impossible. It is a lot of discipline, but it's not impossible. It just takes a lot of coordination and, some late
Yes.
nights, early
Oh,
mornings.
oh, listen,
So,
speaking to the one who has a whole full-time job in business, same thing.
yeah.
It's a learning curve, but when you have identified your passion and identified your purpose, you are actually unstoppable, and
Yep.
you are able to do all the things. What do you think more schools and workplaces What do you think more schools and workplaces, what do you wish they understood about honoring thoughtful pathways instead of pushing like one definition of rigor? What do you wish more schools and workplaces understood about that?
I feel like flexibility is not
Mm,
a thing. Like, and
hmm,
I could be biased, right? Because I only went to the same school from middle school to high school.
yeah.
But having the flexibility to explore,
Mm,
I think a lot of places like between high school and college, you're so focused on like getting a degree, graduating, like doing
hmm,
all those things, but there's no room for exploration and flexibility, excuse me,
sure.
to learn other things, right? And
Hmm.
so if it wasn't because I did All Stars or if it wasn't because
Yeah.
I did the Rutgers, summer program, I don't think that I would be on the path that I am now, right?
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
don't think that and I feel like that goes into like the workplace, right? Like having
Hmm.
flexibility, like a lot of, especially if you work like a 9 to 5, which I feel like
Right.
most people do.
Yep.
Um, there's like, I feel like people call it the work-life balance, but I don't really think it's like work-life balance. I think it's flexibility. Like, do I have the flexibility to be able to not
Hmm.
pick and choose, but to be able to say like, hey, I'm going to do this and also make sure like this is completed, right? And
Yeah.
having that trust of knowing
Hmm.
characteristic wise that I'm a great employer, knowing characteristic wise that I'm a great student. And so regardless of what my grades look like, regardless of what I have done or haven't done,
Hmm.
exposing me to what I mean, you don't know what you like until you try it.
That's right. That's right.
And if I don't try anything, then how am I supposed to know what I like?
That's right.
Um, but I also feel like pushing internships is very key and having
Yeah.
those opportunities to put yourself in places to know what you do and don't like. Like I did internships throughout college, and through those different internships, I learned like I don't ever want to work that job. Like me sitting at a
Yeah.
desk all day, I did that for 3 months, and I vowed that I would never do that again. Unfortunately, I'm kind of like in that predicament now where I do sit at a desk all day,
Hmm.
but I'm not tied to my desk. Like there's no like oh, you need to like swipe your badge at this time
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
need to clock out at this time. It's like, no, if I need to leave and go pick up my daughter, I'm leaving and going picking up my daughter. You can still call me.
Yeah.
You can still email me.
Yeah.
I will respond when. I can't give you a timeline of that, but you will get a response.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I mean by like flexible. It's just like
Yeah.
I feel like we live in such a rigid world that there's no room for creativity, for flexibility, for passion, for
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I feel like that's why a lot of people become entrepreneurs because they want
Yeah.
that creativity. They want that room for flexibility. Um, and it's you pick and choose your battles. I feel like being an entrepreneur is hard, being a full-time worker is hard.
You pick
Everything in
your
the world is
hard. You're
hard,
right.
right?
You're right. You're right. You're right. What often gets mistaken for talent or rigor in technical spaces? And what is it that really builds expertise?
Repetition.
Say more.
I feel like people often mistake talent if you know things, but you can know all you want. Are you doing it the right way? Are you making sure, like, okay, so I'm a cost engineer. That's what I do. Although I graduated
Okay.
with a civil engineering degree, I do a lot with like cost proposals. So
Okay.
if like I work for Amtrak, so if there's any changes to the project, we have to build together a cost proposal, write up a whole narrative on like what the change is. Um, and it was such a learning curve for me because I'm a math girl. I like numbers. I
Yeah.
like crunching numbers. I like adding, subtracting, multiplying. Like everything with a number, that's me. I'm great. Give me an Excel file.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it all pretty. Um, and so I wouldn't say I have talent in writing. That is not
Mm,
for me.
mm,
But after writing letters after letters after letters, it took a lot of like my project manager, he's old school, like
Mhm.
professor old school. So he'll print out what we send and he's
Yeah.
like bleeding on it with a red
Yes.
pen.
Yes. Yes.
And then I'll come to my desk the next day, and I think I put a lot of heart into what I've written.
Yes.
I made it nice. I reviewed it, triple checked it, and then I'll come back and it's like red everywhere. And it's very humbling, but not in like a bad way. It's very
Yeah.
humbling because,
No.
like I said, I'm not talented in writing, but as the months gone on, his red ink has become less.
Mm. Mm.
And it's only because I've well, I mean, it's because it worked. Like I just repetitively have to come, and so I still wouldn't say I'm talented in writing, but I am better at it, and
Yeah.
it does. I don't want to say make me better, but it does overall help my skill set.
Mhm.
Overall help my technical set, and so being
I
in a
love that.
position where you're not comfortable,
Hmm.
find practice out of it. At least that's what I do. Like I find practice out of it. Like, okay, if I know I'm not good at this, but I know this is what I need to do, and I know I
Yeah.
want to excel in my career,
Yeah.
what do I need to learn? And I'm in the era of technical writing. That is my era at work right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a fun era, but if I want to be a project manager, these are the little things I have to learn how to do.
Yeah. There you
So
go with your goals, setting your
yeah, you
goals,
see,
knowing what you
already
need and
thinking.
going after it. I love it. I love it. Since we're talking about technical writing and letters, how does communication, belonging, and we're going to talk about, I'd love to talk a little bit about psychological safety. How does that impact engineering teams and even innovation?
I feel like one of the biggest things, especially because I'm in a white male dominated field.
Yeah.
And I specifically say that because in construction, it's blue collar. Like you don't
Hmm.
really see a lot of black males in construction. Um,
Mm.
at least in my office, I don't. And in the projects
Oh,
that I've been on, I've only ever been the singular like black woman. And then now that me and my husband work together, he has only been the black male. Um, and I had to learn a term called weaponized intelligence.
mm.
And I didn't
Hmm.
know what that meant at first.
Yeah. What does
Um,
it mean to you?
to me, it's like somebody knowing what they're doing, but kind of gaslighting you. It's like
Mm.
a form of gaslighting. And I've dealt with sexism, right? Being in a
Mm.
male dominated field, I've dealt with its fair share of racism, not outright, but it's
Mm.
noticeable. Um, but I've never dealt with someone using my intelligence against me
Mm.
to belittle me. And
Yeah.
so learning things like that, I had to learn how to communicate effectively without showing anger. Um, and I
Mm.
think that that's a hard skill to learn because
Yeah.
on surface level, once you start realizing, you're like, well, geez, right? Insert a curse word like, what the heck? Like, what is going
Yeah.
on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then you can only kill people with kindness. You can only kill people with showing up and actually doing your job and
Yes.
showing people, like, regardless of what you say, I'm still going to walk into this meeting and we're going to talk. I'm still going to send you this email. You're still going to get the things that you need to get from me. Um, but I had to learn how to like stop playing like hands off and be more like, okay, now we actually need to sit down and have a conversation. Like now I need to vouch for myself and really
Yeah.
talk. And it's crazy because at my last project, they used to call me the bulldog because I would just we'll be in meetings and guys will make jokes or they'll be like, well, you didn't know that. No, I didn't know that because how did you expect me to know that if you didn't communicate that with me?
Right.
And here I am
Right.
communicating with you the issues that we're having, and you're turning a blind eye or you're not understanding.
Yeah.
And then I have to like, have a lot of self-talk of like, okay, are you frustrated because you think people are incompetent, or are you frustrated because you're not effectively communicating to people? And
Wow.
learning the
Yeah.
difference between the two really
Hmm.
helped me propel in my career, because I literally would be like, are they like, do people not have common sense? Is that not
So that's not an exclusive question. I mean, I guess there are some that maybe they don't.
And then I was just like, okay, well, I can't just like, push everything outward. Like, am I effectively communicating with them? Am I effectively like being transparent enough? Or like, are they understanding where I'm coming from? And then I started realizing that I would assume that people would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Does that happen often, especially in tech world and engineering, where teams have problems communicating?
Yes. And I feel like it's because, first of all, engineering, like going to engineering school, I use literally nothing I went to school for. No, I'm being like quite frank, and I can understand it
Come
to a
on,
certain
count
degree.
five. What? What?
Yeah, I'm not using any of that. Like I can literally, the degree just helps me propel faster, but
Mm,
I'm nothing I've learned in college. I feel like a lot of the things, especially with engineering, is just helping you understand processes, right? Like a
mm,
lot of the classes that I took is like, here's the process on how it works. I took a concrete class in college. I'm doing nothing with concrete right now. But
mm,
I do know on my project we have concrete pours. We have like, and so I understand
mm.
what those things are. But when you're working with, I don't know if you've ever seen like those memes where it's like what the architect did, what the engineer did, and what the construction team did. Like, and they all have the same idea, but it's
Yeah.
different ways that everyone is doing it. And
Yeah.
that's literally accurate and true. Like, you have to work with people. Like I have to work with designers who are just on one side of a computer. I have to work with people in the field who are just looking at what's in front of them but not understanding the mechanisms behind it. And so
Mhm.
learning who you're talking to is also important.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Because I can't talk to designers the same way I talk to the people who are looking at what's in the field, right? I can't talk to my current team. Like my project is comprised of, I want to say we have like over maybe like 60 people.
Wow.
And that's just my office itself. That does not include like Amtrak's bubble of people, the field bubble of people. These are people who are in the office
That's right.
who, and it's so many moving parts, especially in construction, and they all somehow have to go like this, but most of the time they're like this, or like
Wow.
this, or
Yeah.
like this. And then you have like all these missing,
Yeah.
or you have it like this. Like you have all these missing pieces. And so
Mm.
people assume you know things.
Yeah.
You assume
Yeah.
people know things. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's where the lack of like the bridging doesn't work. Because I'm standing on this side of the bridge, you're
That's
standing
right.
on the other side of the bridge, but the middle of the bridge is missing. And nobody knows that until we get to the middle of the bridge. Now you're just
That's
like yelling across the water.
how can one best make all of the connections that you name faster and ensure the communication that is going to have projects because when you're not operating on the same wavelength and when things get missed and information is left out, I'm
Time is money.
assuming you increase exactly. Money is lost, time is lost, right? People get frustrated. So you may even lose people along
Yeah.
the way, right? As a result of that. So nailing this can only benefit more teams.
I think if starting out at a younger age, and by younger, I mean like elementary, middle school,
Mm,
showing and teaching kids how to adapt, how to like putting them
Mm,
in situations
I
that
love that.
forces them
Right.
to analyze, like, how can I make this situation better? What can I do to make sure, like, I know we like in middle school and high school, you always do group projects, right? But there's always
Hmm.
that one kid who always does
Mm,
it all, right? And then
that
you
was
have the
you.
other ones.
No,
Yeah, I was, but by default because I couldn't trust nobody else with my
because
grades.
you were not playing
So
around. Your mom already told you. You knew you had to get good grades.
yeah, I wasn't trusting no one else with my grade.
That's
But
okay.
I feel like when you have situations like that, like I could have done better at working with other people. I could have done
Mm,
better at like
mm,
not always. I feel like when innately you're a leader, you try to
yeah,
always lead. And
yeah.
I had to learn how to just step back and learn how to follow sometimes. Like sometimes it's
Ooh,
okay to follow. You just gotta make sure you're
yes.
following the right person,
Mm,
but
facts.
it's
Yep.
okay to follow. And so, like giving kids leadership position, giving kids
I love
room where
that.
they need to follow. One of the so my daughter right now, and it just popped
Mm-hmm.
up in my head that I said this. My daughter right now, she goes to this like it's kind of like a gym course
Mm-hmm.
ish thing. It's called Kid Strong,
Okay.
and they actually implemented this new rule where the kids in the class have to help the coach. And that's either set up the classroom, that's either clean or wipe down what the kids touch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just to show kids like how to take responsibility, how to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a leader, how to, but then you also have like the class captains who help coach like resolve issues with the other kids. Um,
Wow.
and it's crazy that they think that 3-year-olds can do that, right? Like I was just like, wow, these kids do not care. Like they
Yeah.
don't care. But they were very receptive to it. Like my daughter was actually very upset that she wasn't class captain. And that kind of like that made me think right now because I'm just like, oh, kid, I said middle school, early elementary, but you can even instill it at home and start it
Yeah.
at home. Um, and just understanding like conflict resolution. I feel like that's another thing that most
Mm.
people don't, you don't deal with conflict resolution until you in a conflict.
And some still don't do that well because in the work that I do now, working with adults, a lot of it is conflict resolution and needing someone to be a mediator, right?
Yep.
And it
And no one
usually
wants to be a
stems from,
mediator.
no, no, not fun spot, but it is interesting to see the evolution of communication or the lack of it, right? Which is part of the reason why there is a conflict to begin with. What advice would you give to students who might feel pressured to follow a rigid path in their education? What would you
Sound
say
like
to
you
them?
talking about me.
I'm not. I'm not.
No. But I'm saying it sounds like that because I was very much like that. Like I said, like my 5 year was mapped out. Like everything had to follow that plan that I had. Um, and when it didn't, I would like break apart. Like, and that's why I said like college was really rough for me because
Mhm.
it didn't go as planned. Like nothing
Mm,
happened as planned. Um, because I was used to the being rigorous from high school, and I like
yeah.
when you go to college, it's free game, it's free
Yeah.
will. It's like
Yeah.
responsible for everything, um, and understanding that I'm responsible. I feel like a lot of students who want to follow such a rigorous path need to learn responsibility for themselves, but
Mm,
also integrity, right? Like
mm,
if you want to follow a rigorous path, you need flexibility, you need creativity, like you need to still have those pieces of yourself alive, um, because it opens room for compassion. If you don't follow the right steps, you need to be compassionate with yourself.
yeah.
And how do you be compassionate with yourself? You have to find things that make you happy. You have to find things that bring you joy. And not everything is always like work, 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 work. And that was like one of my biggest issues is like I was so focused on like achieving, achieving, achieving that I never got to smell my own flowers, right? Like I
Uh,
always was like planting, planting, planting. And it's like once I'm done planting here, let me go plant right
yeah.
here. And once I'm done planting there, but I never had a chance to go smell the flowers that I planted. I've never had a chance to, you just plant, you water it, they grow, but do you ever stop to look at your own garden?
Yeah.
Um,
Are you doing that now?
I am. I
Hmm.
am. I am now.
Yeah.
And that has happened within the last year.
Yeah.
That was a realization I made with myself once. So last year I finally broke into the six-figure bracket. Um, thank you. And I thought that
Yes.
that would be enough, right? I thought that that would be
Yeah.
like, I make six figures, and that's six figures without my husband's salary. Like I
Yeah.
independently make six figures.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough. Like it wasn't like,
Girl, it
and I
never
really had
is.
to sit, yeah. And so I really had to sit down with myself
Yeah.
and, like I said, like I want to be a project manager. I want to do these things, but I also want to live life. I also want to enjoy life. I also want to,
Yeah.
you know, not focus so much on, my career because I've built such a great career that now I can like let me smell my own flowers. Like let me just like
Yes.
enjoy what I'm doing and not like
Yes.
work so hard. And I think that that's the funny thing about having a child is they
Mm.
kind of force you to be present. Like they force you to because like my daughter is always like, "Mommy, let's play," and I'm like, "I can't play. I gotta work on my business. I gotta do this." Um, and then I realized like, but why? Why am
Hmm.
I doing that?
Right.
I've achieved everything I wanted when I was a teenager.
Wow.
So why am I not enjoying what I've built? Why am I not enjoying the life I created?
Yeah.
Why am I still wanting more? And then I'm just like, I feel like a lot of people, and this might just be a personal thing, but I felt like at that point, it felt like greed more than anything.
Mm. Yes. Yeah, that's fair. That is,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was a hard reality I had to have, like a hard conversation I had to have with myself
Yeah.
because I mean, growing up in a background where you don't have anything and then you constantly like want more, 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 but you sit down and like, I have a husband, I have a kid, I have a family, I have a roof over my head, I have a car, I have a stable job, I make six figures, I have my own business. Like, what more do I want?
Yeah. Wow.
And so tying it back to like with students, like understanding you are the own driver to your bus, but it's okay to stop and get off the bus at certain bus stops. And life is a journey. You're gonna have some moments where you're like, oh, I figured this out. It's working. And then a month later, you're like,
I'm a
this
hot
ain't
mess.
working, right? It
How did
ain't
that
working
happen?
for me.
Listen, I'm over 50 and it's still that ebb and flow is so true. So true.
Yeah. But I would also encourage people to do a lot of reading and being open to learning. Like just
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
Learn as you go. Like no one has the answer. And I thought that I had the answers and I didn't.
Yeah. You learn quickly that the answers you find, you usually find from the mistakes you made.
You may
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so but yeah, that's what I have for that. It was very long-winded, but
No, it was perfect. It was perfect. Tiaja, thank you so, so much for
you're
all of your
welcome.
insights, for the time. It has been amazing. First of all, catching up and then hearing so much wisdom coming from this young, you said 29?
Yeah, I know. I'm so young. But I'm so ready for 30. I feel like 30
Oh
is
my
gonna
goodness.
be the year for me as
30 is the
well.
year.
Yeah, well, because I've gone through the 20s, a hot mess, and then now
Yes,
I'm wiser
yes,
and
yes,
life
yes.
is, but I'm actually looking forward to my 40s, but that's neither here or
Oh
there.
my goodness. Every year that's when something new is happening. I remember 30 was when I woke up and was like, "Oh, wait a minute.
My back.
Some felt a little stiff there." 40, I woke up and was like, "Wait, I'm blind." And then
Yep.
50 was like, what is today?
I'm looking forward to all of it.
I'm glad that we became reconnected again. And when I
Yes.
saw you on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh my gosh, she would be perfect. But I also
Yes.
haven't spoken to Tiaja in such a long time.
Yes.
But I'm so
It's
glad that you said yes. I appreciate it.
it is great to talk to you, and I always love connecting with people who knew the younger version of me.
Oh.
Um, because it just reminds me and it makes me remember like the great parts, right? Because now everyone knows like all the bad parts, but it just
Well,
helps me. It brings me back and just like stepping stones, stepping stones.
stepping stone. I think one of the greatest misconceptions about expertise is that it's measured only by what you know. That's not true because expertise is also revealed in how you respond when your ideas are questioned, or how you respond when you're the only one in the room, or when you have to advocate for your work, or even when you choose to speak even though your voice is shaky. Those moments don't just test your knowledge, they actually shape who you're becoming. So here's something to reflect on. Are we preparing people to master content, or are we preparing them to navigate the human side of expertise? Because when you really think about it, the future won't belong to only those with the best ideas. It's going to belong to those who can communicate those ideas, those who can collaborate around those ideas, and those who can continue actually learning through some of the challenges that exist. So, in our next episode, we're going to explore the role of curiosity and the paths that we encourage people to follow. Listen, until then, I would love for you to keep building expertise, just even one opportunity, one conversation, and one courageous step at a time. Thank you for listening.